All right, everybody, welcome to the Barn Burner Breakdown. I'm your host, Fred Tabelli. I'm here with former guests of the show, Jaime and Scotty G. I got some guys from Dynamic Striking here, and they didn't know what they were getting into today. Before we started this podcast, we filmed a little comedy skit, so we're kind of covered in fake blood. We've been in the streets of Lawrence with pretty significantly sized weapons. I'm surprised the authorities didn't get called on us, but I'm so happy to have you guys here. Thank you so much for getting involved in some shenanigans today.
Yeah, Freddie, if I knew that was going to happen, I would have brought my gun.
I know. Oh, man. It's always good to carry a gun in Lawrence, for sure, but I think the Bowie knives kind of like spoke for themselves.
Yeah.
That was good.
Good thing we had the camera stuff, because I think people would have
Dude,
been arrested.
When there was, you guys couldn't see it really, but the scene when you were kicking the dummy in the head, and I was crouched down, there was like two dudes walking by looking like, what the hell is going on? Like, what are these guys doing? I was like, kind of gave them like the little wink, but we definitely looked like psychos for sure. But, I mean, I am a psycho, so, it makes sense. But yeah, I'm so glad you guys came here today. I know you're always super busy. You guys are doing a lot, especially with your dynamic striking videos. But yeah, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, no problem, Freddie. Always good to see you. Catch
Scott,
up.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Scott, I want to start with you. I know that this is your first time on the show. Again, happy to have you here. But maybe you could tell us a little about yourself. I know your specialty is judo, for sure, right?
Training judo. So mostly coaching, strength and conditioning, therapy for the judo guys. We got a big center here in Boston, so that's 90% of it. And then I get to work with some, solo nut jobs like Jaime.
Jaime. You know what? I have a theory about this. I feel like sometimes people don't give judo a lot of credit, or people don't think about it as much as martial art, or actually what it really is, and the throws and the grips and the grab and stuff. And I feel like it's because of Austin Powers. If you guys were there was the scene also, he'd always say judo chop.
Judo chop, yeah.
And I always I feel like that's not really judo. It's not about chopping. But I always feel like Austin Powers gave it a bad name.
To some extent, dude, absolutely. I think, and even us talking together, I don't think people understand how as far as martial arts are concerned, how high judo is as far as competition level worldwide. United States doesn't have almost any judo.
Yeah, because what were you telling me? Because it's
outside.
Outside of U.S.
It's the second largest sport outside of the U.S.
Okay.
Which is crazy.
Massive.
Yeah.
Before I knew him, I barely knew what judo was.
Yeah.
Yeah. What got you started in judo?
So I was a wrestler, and then I was down here in Boston working at Mike Boyle Strength and Conditioning, and the coach that was coaching the judo guys left, and they're like, you have some grappling experience. So I started with them 2015, 14. And then the ball started rolling with there. I trained them, specifically Travis, my head coach, and in exchange, I got to train with them for every day.
Yeah.
Which mostly jiu-jitsu. But then through that, Zanga and BJJ Fanatics guys were part of that, and then my buddy Zach eventually was like, yo, I got this dude Jaime, I think you guys would get along. So.
What was the transition going from judo to wrestling? Because I'm sure a lot of similarities with grappling and stuff like that, but where it's so throw heavy in jiu-jitsu, how did you fare making that transition over?
Well, I mean, in the gi, anything in the gi, is you feel like you're wrestling through a briar patch. You just get caught in everything. Yeah. They can grab you anywhere on the butt. It's just different. And you get choked out over and over and over again. Because submissions aren't a thing in wrestling, so yeah. But the training of it's the fun part, the strength and conditioning style, and having to work with like those high level guys that get thrown on their head every day, and trying to figure out how to like put them back together.
Yeah.
It's constant, which I really enjoy. Like, it's kind of like being a battlefield fucking every day.
Yeah.
Is something
the medic,
new.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
When you started your journey with wrestling, how much did you put into just overall, like say maybe like from a high school level, like overall strength and conditioning? Was that something that you adapted?
Wrestling has a really good culture of strength and conditioning. Like, probably out of any, besides, well, most martial arts do, but wrestling's pretty underrated as far as the strength and conditioning goes. It's just hours and hours and hours that happens in the wrestling room. Whether the coach like breaks out like weights, or you're like jumping over a partner, or you're lifting a partner up consistently, like you just get that. And then strength and conditioning you do on the side, and usually the wrestling coach like teaches you how to do your big three, like bench, squat, and deadlift. But it's definitely a place that you can get a lot better if you really focus on that and like learn as much as you can and put effort into it. You'll get significantly stronger. And with any grappling sport, like strength, striking, I mean, you can speak to this more than I can. I'm not a big striker. But with grappling, strength matters. Less so in jiu-jitsu, but wrestling and judo, like, it's a big deal if you're stronger than the other person.
I just think from all the high-level athletes that we've got to be around, I think the biggest thing obviously you have to train and drill and do everything, but it's being consistent with your craft. Mm-hmm. It's like anything. Like when you're doing comedy, the first time you go up there, you're not going to be as good as the last time you went.
Dude, every time I go up there, I've just been sucking so. I don't know what it is. I hit like you hit a milestone, right? Like you're like, okay, great. Like I figured out how to do this a little bit better.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like some older jokes that I've had that have been my go-tos, like when I'm struggling on stage, I'm like, all right, at least I know I got this one a little in my back pocket. Let me pull it out. I've just been like eating it. I don't know. I wish I could explain it. Like,
so as far as eating it is, like, so say we're at the show and you're like, oh fuck, I need that joke and it doesn't work, and I'm sure no one's throwing anything at you, but like do you just get that sense like, oh no, I'm doing horrible, or how's it go?
So for me anyway, personally, first it starts with this like incredible like burning feeling I get in the back of my neck, where I feel like I'm like, I can feel myself start to heat up a little bit, and then I can feel like the drips kind of coming out of my armpits a little bit, and I'm just like, this is bad. And there's like two types of bad that I've noticed happens. There's the bad where like nobody's paying attention to me. You can hear like a waitress or a bartender, or like people are just like talking, and you're like, you get aggravated, or I get aggravated. I'm like, nobody's paying attention to me. Like, this sucks. Mm-hmm. And then there's every single person in that place is paying attention to me. It's dead quiet. You can feel every single set of eyes in the room just staring at you, and nothing you're saying is making any difference. It's just like dead silent. You can just feel them staring at you. And that was like the last bomb I had, was like that. People just staring at me, and it was bad. It was really bad.
Yeah, that was a good description, because
but I just
definitely would not want that.
No, thanks, dude.
And
tell you.
When it's like the first 5 minutes of like a 15-minute set, because it's been a while since I've like cut a set short and just been like, all right, peace out. Like I probably did that a little bit more earlier on if it was like an open mic or something like that. But if you have a show and you're booked to be there for, like, usually if I'm getting booked for a show, like, I'm not a headliner or anything like that, so I might be opening up or hosting or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it'll be for 15 minutes, probably the most for a set.
But that's a long time.
That's a long time.
People don't understand. Oh, 15 minutes, that's nothing. Try running in place for 15 minutes.
Yeah. So if you like
doing anything.
Yeah. If it's the first like 2 minutes where it's like not working, and I'm just like, I have 13 more minutes of people just staring at me. Yeah. It sucks. But it could be worse. I could be, in like a 15-minute fight and things not working and get my head kicked in, or like a judo tournament where like you're getting slammed. So I'm sure like worse things could happen. Have you guys ever been in like a tournament or a fight where you're just like, like right from the get-go something like doesn't feel right? Like you just feel kind of off?
Not so much in like professional fights, because like you got Scotty and like your team that's just like gets you in that mindset, like nothing's gonna go wrong. This is, and I've been lucky where I've had the right people around me and been in the right fights that it's always gone my way. But I've been in a lot of like, you're visiting a gym, you're flying down to Arizona or you're flying somewhere to like, and you're the outside guy.
Yeah.
And you just get the shit whaled out of you. And
yeah.
like, right away, like, oh, this is going to be a long day. And it happens on the mat, right? Or on, going to it's mostly when you go to a different gym, but different you gyms. Have to do that though, because if you're too comfortable, like I'm too comfortable with Scotty. Mm-hmm. So like he can train me and we can train together, but it's never going to be like when you go somewhere else where you're an outsider. You have to do that to get better, or you just get used to your sparring partners, or you get used to your team, and nobody wants to really go crazy. Like, but when you go somewhere else, it's your reputation's on the line. So you and theirs
is too, right?
Yeah, so it's almost like a match outside of a match.
Yeah,
like
we can, and some other comics I think would attest to this too, but it's almost the same thing with like a set. If you're just going to the same venue or the same open mic to work out a joke, you need to try in other spots to see.
Yeah, you can't have your family. Your 20 family members and all your friends from home
just
there
your mom
laughing
in the
their
back.
asses. Yeah,
like it gets old.
No, that's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you go up and do the same karaoke song every time. You're gonna kill it, right?
Yeah,
you gotta try and
you gotta do something different.
Yeah.
Scotty, from a coaching perspective, what is that pressure like when you've worked with a guy, like you've gone through, maybe you've set their strength and conditioning routine, you've worked with them like through grappling and whatever it took to like get to a certain point. The night of a fight or the day of a competition or something like that, what is that like for you? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of pressure, right?
Yeah.
Like you're working through this is an incredible situation that this person's going into.
Well, like with the judo kids that I coach, most of them, right, they compete like 2 times a month. Like MMA is a weird one where like you compete a couple times a year maybe. Yeah. And then you have massive amounts of build up and training camp, and like that anticipation and build up is massive for MMA with the more like discipline, not like individual disciplines like wrestling, boxing, Muay Thai, like those guys are taking fights every weekend.
Yeah. Every
other weekend. So it gets, like I'll know when they're competing, but it's like, hey, how'd you guys do? It's not even like a verse like cornering with Jaime. Like that's massive. That's like months every day, putting in the work, building up to that, because you don't maintain that level as an MMA fighter. Like it's ups and downs and ups and downs. So you really have to peak at a very specific time, and then there's a lot of pressure. But yeah, no, it's totally different for each sport.
Yeah. How do you, going into say like an MMA corner, right? Like how do you structure that peak? Like where do you want to see a fighter start to like pick up their training, or like pick up their intensity, I guess maybe, and then start? I'd imagine you probably need to like pull it back a little bit leading into fight night, right?
It's really dependent on the fighter. Like really dependent on the fighter. If they're like a Ferrari type, you really don't want to do much. You want to like make sure they're training well, make sure everything is in place so that they don't like throw a piston when but lots of rest. If they're a freak athlete, if they've got good skills, just like don't fuck it up. if it's an F-150 and they have to put in the work, or they're like a mental case in some ways, where they have to like get themselves exhausted in order to not be anxious, then you got to rest. Like then there's a lot more calculation involved.
Yeah.
I feel like it's trial and error too.
Yes.
A lot of it, especially with the weight too. For MMA, I don't know about the judo guys and the jiu-jitsu guys, but if you're gonna lose 30 pounds and you're 2 weeks out, like you're not gonna be focusing on your judo throws and your jiu-jitsu moves. You're gonna be concentrating on you're not fighting if you don't make the weight, right?
Yeah.
So like it's like
Your last
checks and
weight cut
balances.
was brutal. Your last weight cut was
Oh,
brutal,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Nasty.
But
It's hard.
yeah,
That's the hardest part.
that was a great point with the dependent on the fighter.
Yeah.
So many personalities in the room, and I just feel like you have to like almost balance the guy out himself, because like I can be playing mind games up here, but I need someone to say it out loud, like, hey, you need to rest, or hey, I want you to eat
Like
sub.
dehydrated, you're anxious, like
Eat a sub, you look like a crackhead.
yeah, like you sometimes gotta just like
It's like a lot going. There's a lot going.
Yeah.
On. It's like football. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot leading up to that game. You get the prep all week.
Yeah, and you like can feel it, right? And I it's been a long time since I've like had to play a football game, but like, yeah, just like the lead up to it, like even like the bus ride to the game. There's like you need to like do the bus ride right. Yeah, there's all these little things, like one little aspect of one little variable goes off, you could throw your whole day off, your whole game off. You know.
Yeah, I feel like I did the same thing. I got like, I still remember like sitting in that back. You know how that back door to Merrimack, the locker room.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the same anymore. They're like rich now,
Yeah.
so like they didn't get the shit we got. But you just open the door and it was like a little area, probably like a smoking area.
Yeah.
Where if you
I know
smoke,
exactly the part
but
you're
yeah, like hour before the game, I would just sit out there by myself.
Yeah.
Because they had like a little wooded area. There was no cars or anything.
Yeah.
And everybody left me alone,
Yeah, no one wanted to mess with you.
But same thing with like the fighting. Like a couple days before, like we had to do exactly what I said.
Oh,
hey, we're watching this movie at this time. We're eating this. I'm walking the dogs at this time. Like it had to be exactly as know, or I would have been all fucked up.
Yeah. And you're like super dehydrated at that point, like not thinking straight.
Yeah,
too.
I didn't
like,
realize how
bro.
your brain changes.
Yeah.
Like now I know why, like you say, like a hungry wolf or a hungry bear. Yeah, like they're a wild animal, but they have one thing on their mind: it's food. If you piss them off, it's
just like walking around
like
the kitchen.
your whole
like,
your whole mindset just changes when you're like. I wasn't even hungry. I wasn't even hungry anymore. I was just so thirsty.
But that's probably speaks to needing a good coach or a good corner, right? Because it's like when you're in that mindset, maybe you don't even really know exactly everything you need because you're so focused on something. So when you have something like you need somebody to tell you like this is what your strength and conditioning routine is, right? Because you're probably so focused on like whatever it is.
Yeah, I couldn't have done it. Like I wouldn't have been able to do that by myself. No way. Yeah. I had like the right guy. I made him and my other buddy Phil stay at my house for like 2 weeks. Just like wouldn't let them leave.
Yeah. Like, all right, buddy.
Yeah.
Move in.
Just moving in. For the week.
Yeah.
Scotty, do you have like any saying? I think I asked Jamie this last time too, but like say like the day of a fight if you're cornering somebody, do you have any like specific routines or anything that like you have to do the day of a fight to get in that like that mindset?
Like me, like coaching? No, dude. I think most of everyone's different. For me, just coaching in general, even building up to an event, whatever the event is, it's just like making sure all my stuff is handled mentally and physically so that I can be there 100% for the person I'm coaching. Like that's everything. Anything that you're doing like for yourself to some extent at that point is going to take away from them. And the whole point is to like build them up. So, yeah, you kind of try to take yourself out of it as much as possible. Not get your own ego involved.
Yeah. Wow, man. That's crazy. Like, even, I was thinking about, like, I bring it back to, like, schoolyard. Like, if one of your boys is, like, fighting, like, some other kid, you're, like, trying to build them up. You're, like that's great. I went to the Combat FC fights last night. I was saying, like,
Yeah.
I do feel like I pay attention more, especially after doing this show and I've gotten to talk to some other fighters or, like, people who've, like, helped coach fights. Like, I do feel myself more and more looking at, like, what the corner's doing in a fight, too. Is I don't know why, like, there is that connection between, like, the fighters and their coaches and their corner. Where there's nothing like it. Like, that, like, even when I watch UFC or, you know, PFL or Bellator or something on Fight Pass, like, I love when they show the corner camera and they show, like, the interactions between the fighters and the coaches. It is, like, it's a captivating thing to watch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I bring it back because, you know, I know we both played football. And, like, that's the only thing I can, like, you know, like, bring it to.
Yeah.
Like, similarities is, like, you're with your guys, your corner or whatever for months, you know?
Yeah.
It's like us.
Family,
like,
right?
Yeah, like, football, you know? Like, the bus rides, the practices, like, the sucky, the good parts, like, you know, you trust your corner. You trust the guy that's playing next to you, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, that's why I keep going back to the football thing, because you'll understand that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But if you haven't been in the corner, or, like, you haven't been the fighter, it's kind of like the people just sitting in the stands, like, don't have a clue.
Like me, I'm like, what? I'm like, what is going
well,
on?
you can compare it to the football, though, you know?
Yeah.
So it's, like, similar to that.
And most of the work's done. I mean, at that point,
Yeah.
if you really got to make adjustments at that point, you're not in a good place.
Yeah.
Like,
It's crisis mode.
yeah, I mean, there's nothing you're going to yell out from the corner that's going to fix anything. Like, most of that's just, like, excitement, to be honest. There's some, like, code stuff that you can work, but, like, 90% of it is...
But they might see something, so when you come back, you know, oh, you know, he's dropping his left hand when he's throwing his right kick, or whatever the case may be. But I'm not going to see that
Yeah.
that close, you know. Or maybe I will see it, but the corner, they're watching, like, precisely what he's doing. So they might have some insight, but I feel like the corner is more like, hey, you got to circle more to your left. You're going right to his right. Like, it's quick stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you're
5 seconds, yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be like...
Yeah, you're not writing a book in there.
No, you're
not going to pick
hey,
up on
well...
Not learning a new move. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's got to be quick, like, little adjustments, I feel like. But
For someone like, I'm going to bring this to me for a second. So someone like me, right? I'm like, I just recently started grappling, like doing jiu-jitsu and like trying to just, you know, I want to feel like confident, like if the situation came up, right? But I also have like a kid at home, or like a baby at home, like trying to work during the day, comedy at night, so like not a lot of time to work out or like go to the gym or anything like that. Would you say, or do you recommend for like beginners, like any specific like easy workouts at home that maybe like sort of help get them in shape, or like what would be like your go-to workouts for someone like some schmuck like me that was like,
Dude.
what can I do to like get functional strength somewhere, but I don't really have a lot of time to go to the gym?
Man, honestly, push-ups are free. Squats are free. Running's free.
Like, what did we do today?
We just ran back and
It was
forth.
nice out, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know, I was gonna hold mitts from in the studio and all this shit, and after I walked the dogs, I came back and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do something else today, cause I walked to a field like down the street from my house, like a Papuana field.
Yeah.
And the sun was on it. It looked great. I'm like, we ran down to the field, and there's baseball diamonds in each corner, so they have benches. So there's a bench here that's probably 200 yards. The other side, another bench. So you do like 25 push-ups, jump squats 25. Then you step ups with knees, and then like some sit-up stuff, and then we'd hold the pads for each other.
Yeah.
Just running back and forth. Like,
Yep.
didn't cost us a thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. And then like kettlebell mace would be the next thing.
That's
Cheap.
the ball and the stick, right?
Yeah. Also a home defense weapon if needed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that stuff's super simple. Pair of friggin' 20-pound dumbbells can get most things done. You don't need a gym membership. And that's the thing. It's like, the more you crush that shit, the better. So if you're getting into jiu-jitsu, if you're getting into strike, whatever it is, even just friggin' pickleball.
Yeah.
Like if you really want to get into it and you want to make sure your joints are safe, like just run the engine as much as possible. Get good sleep.
Yeah.
But just run the engine. If you got like 20 minutes at work, just do as many push-ups as you can until you can't use your arms, and then do it again an hour later.
Dude, I gotta work on my sleep. My sleep is terrible. I feel like maybe if I'm lucky, I fall asleep around like 12:31, but then I gotta get up to get the kid ready. So he go to school and then I can go to work, but I really gotta fix my sleep problems. I don't know. Do you guys do anything to help you fall asleep? Especially, like, even if it's like you're getting ready for a fight or something like that, or you're getting ready to do whatever. You guys have any like sleep tips? I'm like, I need them.
Sleep when you're dead.
Jamie's not very good at sleeping.
I don't get much sleep either. But I try to put on like a podcast or something like, almost like, you know how you didn't pay attention in school, you didn't learn much?
Yeah.
Some kind of like learning thing. So I put on like a podcast and then like I fall asleep.
Yeah.
Eventually, but it takes a while. Like today, I just learned this. I was listening to a podcast and I don't know, maybe I was dreaming it, but you know how in what's the movie when Val Kilmer says like, "I'll be your huckle."
Oh, you're talking about Tombstone.
Huckleberry, right?
It's Huckleberry, right? Yeah.
It's not Huckleberry. It's like not pallbearer, but the thing on the side of a casket.
Where they
is
lower
a huck
you.
or
Hallbearer. Hallbearer?
I think it's a huck.
Yeah.
Huck bear.
I liked Huckleberry better.
Yeah. No, but everybody says Huckleberry.
Huckleberry.
It's not Huckleberry. It's
Hallbearer.
Yeah.
It's Duck Holiday.
Right.
You know what?
But he knew that.
Yeah.
So everybody else is an idiot.
And an idiot.
I was an idiot till last night when I listened to that. I'm still an idiot.
This is what you're educating yourself on later.
But see, so you learn something new.
It's true.
I've always thought Val Kilmer was a better Doc Holliday in Tombstone, but I like the movie Wyatt Earp. Do you guys ever see Wyatt Earp?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think Wyatt Earp is a better movie, but Val Kilmer, I would have liked to see Val Kilmer in Wyatt Earp.
Yeah, I agree. With Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and not that I don't like who's
Kurt Russell.
I love Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
I think he's in some funny ass movies, and I like him. But Kevin Costner, I mean, he's a man.
It's funny about that. I saw her on maybe Instagram or Facebook or something. When they were filming Tombstone, it was like a disaster. Like what you could imagine. Like picture whatever craziness in production we got into today, and multiply it by 1,000,000, and that's how like crazy it was.
Really?
So they fired the director,
Jesus.
and then they fired a second director. So they had to do like this co-director conglomerate of people do the movie.
Oh, so it's like
Kurt Russell actually came in and directed
No shit.
the majority of Tombstone, and produced it. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it turned out great, but I know what you're saying. Like, even to be in this small part, like watching like how you guys set up and shit, I was like overwhelmed. I'm like, fuck, I'll hire someone to do that if we have to.
I know.
There's no way I would be. I would just be too aggravated trying to figure it out.
We were Kyle, who did the filming.
Yeah.
He's also a comedian. That's sort of like where I know him from, was like, comedy shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He films a lot of comedy skits, and he does a lot of like videography and filmography for like, he's filmed a few different comedians specials, and I'm actually really pumped to see what how it comes out, and then he'll send it to me, and I'll like edit it to like figure it out. I'm like okay with it, so like I'll edit like all of this film stuff. Joshua films it and make sure it's like the sound's correct, the lighting's good, and then I usually cut it up. So I'm getting better at it, but it's hard. And it's hard when you got to figure out all of this stuff too. Like if it was just me figuring out you know, how to set up the sound, the lighting, the camera angles.
But that's still a lot.
It's a lot.
It is. It's a ton. So much goes into it. Like, especially when you see some of the like bigger name podcasts, like the really successful ones. There's a team of like somewhere between 5 and 10 people, probably.
Really?
Just like getting it all together.
Yeah, because we just see this.
Yeah.
Just talking to the mic, you're all sick.
Yeah.
Like, but now coming in early and doing the extra stuff, I was like, Jesus Christ.
That's a lot. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Not to, you know, and then there's a like, you get to conceptualize it. Something like we did a lot of stuff like just on the fly, but like you kind of have to figure out ahead of time like some way that it's gonna look right. Like we had to like come up with like okay, like we need to like do this by the truck so we can like throw a body at the truck. We need, you know, like we had to storyboard it out somewhat, and like that takes time too. Like that probably took like 4 hours.
You think a lot of scripts are like that? Like, okay, I get the script, I'm reading it, but then we get to the set and I'm like, nah, that's all fucked up. We gotta adjust this.
It depends on the director. Some directors are super strict where it's like if it doesn't go exactly how that script goes, then they'll get a different actor. Like they'll get somebody different. But like some other shows, for instance, like Curb Your Enthusiasm on HBO, most of that is all like on the spot. They just work it out.
Oh well.
So, like Jeff Garland, who I don't know if you guys watch Turn Up, but he plays the Jeff on the show. He's a stand-up comic, and he doesn't prepare any of his material. He like everything he does on stage, he just sort of like comes up with
on the fly.
Like, on the fly. Versus like me, if I have 15 minutes, I'm doing a 15-minute set. I have pretty much to a T exactly that 15 minutes. And like I'll maybe do a little bit of crowd work here and there, but usually when I do that, even if it's good and it worked out, sometimes it'll throw me off. Like really,
like oh shit, what was my next thing?
Yeah, like
your timing's all off.
Yeah, that's why like, having a heckler sucks. Like some like
I
people like rip on this. Like
that's why you gotta bring like someone like us.
Oh, dude,
in
like
the front row, like dude, shut the fuck up.
Need some assistance here, dude. Yeah, you guys throw them through a wall. I love it, dude. I there's nothing.
There's people that actually go and heckle you. What an
it sucks. It
I would
really
be so
sucks.
Pissed.
And it's tough because there's
can throw you off. It's hard enough doing what you're doing, and then you get some dickhead.
Oh my god, it's the worst. Some comedians do more crowd work where it's almost like you kind of have to expect maybe a little bit of heckling or maybe just a little bit of banter anyway, because that's what you're doing. You're like talking to the crowd and asking questions. Like, I am not asking the crowd anything, because if I start talking to them, then it's like
fair game.
It's fair game.
Oh,
You have to be prepared for that.
I could not.
And Boston's got to be.
Oh my god.
One of the harder places to have hecklers.
Yeah. Which one? What did you say?
Boston's got to be like of all places to.
The city, like, I haven't really played many other cities outside of Boston, but like when you're in a city scenario with people like doing like bar hopping and stuff like that, they just like happen to like stumble into your show. It can be brutal.
Yeah.
So bad.
Oh my god. I can see it now.
But there's nothing I love more than like a YouTube video of a heckler getting just smashed by security. Or you know, there's a famous one. I forget the comic's name. I'm gonna look it up. I'll probably like play it on the video in the background. He's playing a guitar. He's like a music and comedy act.
Okay.
And this heckler is like, there's some like famous hecklers. They think they're famous. They like this one guy. He like that's his thing. He like heckles shows and he thinks he's the man. So he goes to go on stage. This comic takes his guitar and smashed it right over the heckler's head.
Nice.
Like Jeff Jarrett style, just like smashed it. And that video makes me happier maybe more than any other video I've ever seen in my life. This dude just getting crushed.
Like demolished.
Demolished.
God damn, I love it.
But if you open your mouth and you're ruining everybody's time, you deserve to get smashed.
100%.
Yeah, I love that he did that. I'm gonna have to look up the video now.
You gotta watch it,
But I know what you're saying though. Like one little thing can throw you off, because like when I started doing like the interviews with like the high profile athletes, I'd have it scripted out. Like okay, he's the UFC Hall of Famer. He's this, he's that, he's that. And I'd have it memorized. If you forget one thing, you screw the whole thing up.
Yeah.
It can totally throw you off. So I think it's better, like, that's why I brought Scotty before we started, because you never met him in person. So I'm like, let's just kind of mess around for a little while beforehand. So I'd usually do the interviews after we do, like, the instructional video or whatever. Just so I get to know him a little bit and, like, you're more comfortable, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's tough, too, like, if you're doing, and I don't know how many people you guys usually have on crew when you're doing an instructional, but if you have to, like, keep reshooting something or retaking it, like, probably a similar feeling, like, on stage. Like, you feel it. You're like, you don't want to, like, not that you're wasting everybody's time. It's just part of the deal, but, like, you feel it when you have to take, like, a ton of takes on something.
Oh, my God. I remember, I don't know who it was. And even if I did know who it was, I wouldn't mention their name on here. But, so we were doing an instructional. I don't know if you were there, Scotty, but we filmed like 30 minutes maybe of this instructor like going over, say, like a single leg takedown.
Yeah.
And whichever kid was doing the camera, he didn't record it.
No.
So we had, and this is like a high profile athlete, like, hey dude, you gotta do it over again. The kid forgot to record it.
Yeah, or like the guy just can't get it right, the person who's doing the instructional, and they need to retake it over and over because they're a perfectionist. Some guys come in, they just do like the whole thing straight.
Most of the strikers do.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying, like some of the jiu-jitsu guys, like they go over and over and over the move. But that's why they're the best.
Yeah.
Scotty,
have you gotten a chance to do an instructional or a video with someone that you've like always looked up to, or was there like one specific person that you were just like, oh, I can't believe this is so cool, I'm doing an instructional with them?
I mean, in the jiu-jitsu world, like Uncle Jeff Glover is the man. So that was cool. He's got a very similar style to like body type wise. So got to learn from him. That was fun. But in general, I mean, everyone's just a human.
Yeah.
Like, and it's almost like you don't want to meet your heroes as far as that's concerned, because they might not be.
You might get disappointed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just try not to like idealize anyone, but yeah, Uncle Jeff's the man, dude, and like he was a really fun one to shoot. And then that's pretty much it, dude. The guys come into the gym, and training with them is really fun when they get to come in afterwards, and like we get some good rolls in Beverly, where the headquarters is.
How long does it usually take for you, like, combined with the the rolling, the actual interview stuff? Like, how long would it take to maybe put together an instructional video?
I mean, what is it, like hour and a half is what you shoot for?
Yeah, potentially 90 minutes.
90 minutes.
Like that's the minimum.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the contract as far as that is, but we're told like make sure it's at least 90 minutes. Because the first time when I went over to Thailand, like Sanchai, like they don't speak great. I don't know how his English is now because that was a couple of years ago, but like all the instructors there, none of them spoke English, so they would just do the move and then it'd be like 45 minutes or something, or like 35 minutes and be like, that's it. I'm like, okay,
sweet.
So now we make sure it's at least 90 minutes. And I had to translate that whole instructional, by the way. It was fucking horrible.
Yeah. And so the post, so that's like what it takes to film it. And then there's like the post production part where it's like you gotta like translate something or
like I didn't
trying to adjust levels
like,
and
make that clear. I don't speak Thai or anything. I was just going off of like what he was doing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, he's blocking this and throwing this, and then we had a voiceover do like the words that I put down, but that took forever because you're like, oh, was that a right or was that a left or, I just tried to stay as basic and whatever as possible, but
absolute legend though. I mean, talk about someone who
absolutely, and he's such a nice guy. He was really polite, and he play fight you and stuff. Because like that's the other great thing about working for the company, right? So like you do say like you flew in from wherever, we do the thing, we go out eat, we roll or spar or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Like you get to work out with them. It's great company to work for. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, and you guys put out amazing content, right? It's like
Yeah, no,
well-known people, like that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you get the best in
Best
every sport, basically.
Yeah, and it's funny, you know, Scott, you said like you don't want to like idolize anyone, right? And I have a story I'm gonna tell you guys. I think I like texted it to you afterwards, but like how so. Jamie and I did an episode. This is probably it was like 2 months ago, maybe or something like that. And so I put it out there, and you know these take like maybe like a week or so to edit and you know put it up online. So that following week I had a really big show, well, a big show for me anyway. It was at this place in South Boston called Capo, where you know it's like hard to get on the show. I had messaged the person who runs it, this gentleman Will, who is also one of my teachers at a comedy class that I took. So I was like really pumped for the show, but I was nervous also. So I get down there, and like everything that could be going wrong was going wrong. So I'm looking for a place to park in South Boston, couldn't find it. Finally found a spot, and I realized like. Well, I'm like kind of running late, but not running late. So I run in. I realized I didn't have my wallet. So I ran out to my truck to like find my wallet. Realized I just must have completely forgot it. So I'm freaking out because I wanted to get like a beer or even just like a soda water or something. I'm calling my wife to make sure if I left my wallet at the house. She's not answering. So I'm like, is everything all right? Like, what's going on? Get out of my truck. I stepped on a pile of dog shit.
Nice.
So I got shit on my shoe now. So I'm just like,
you stink.
Yeah, stink. About to go back into this club, just like feeling like everything, like just everything is going wrong. Like what the hell? I got down there and I was supposed to be going up second to last, and then the host Willie moved me up to like the middle of the lineup, which was actually pretty cool. I was following this girl Caroline, who's a really good comic. So I was like, okay. But I'm still sort of like freaking out. I'm like, I got shit on my shoe. I can't find my wallet. Like, I wanted to get a drink. Like, what? My wife's not answering. Like, is the fucking milkman over? Like, what's going on right now? And like, just as I'm about to go on stage, I had put up our video earlier that day, and I saw that Matt Brown liked the picture, and I'm like, Matt Brown, who I've seen, you know, however many years, like, you know, crazy fights in UFC, knockout leader, all that stuff. I don't know what it was, but when I saw that Matt Brown liked the video, because I know you've done instructionals with him, so I know that's how he saw you tagged in it. It like put me in like this, like another place. Like I felt like I was in another universe. Like this dude that I like sort of idolized that I didn't watch it, liked a video that I posted. So it like sort of just like took the pressure off me for a second. Yeah. And it was maybe like 30 seconds before I went up on stage. And it just put me at ease, and I like went up and I had like one of the best sets I've had in a long time. So I was like, if it wasn't for that like weird little moment, I probably would have went up on stage and sucked or like, you know, eating shit or whatever. Yeah. But
a lot of
it like saved me.
A lot of everything's like the mindset, right?
Yeah.
Like, right, Scotty? Like sometimes I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so fucking down, this sucks. And then something fucking pops you up in like 30 seconds. Yeah. And I texted that to Matt, by the way. Cause the message. And I don't think I explained it completely. He's like, who the fuck is this? And I'm like, oh, it's my buddy Freddie. We did a podcast and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, he said that's awesome.
Oh, so, dude.
Yeah, that was good.
It's like when you're, and I'm sure you guys could maybe like find parallels to it with like training and things like that. Like, just when you feel like you're gonna suck, like you suck. when you can find that little moment of just like something positive, and it just puts you in another like frame of mind. It just, I don't know what it was. It was like someone flipped a light. Like all of a sudden, I was
so
just
weird
like,
how the mind is. Like the mind can work like that, right?
100%. Yeah.
Jesus. Just feel like you can't get out of bed, and then you get that phone call and you're like,
boom, like, let's go, baby,
right through the door.
100%, dude.
You get that other phone call and you're like, give me the pillow.
Don't take it off.
But yeah.
Scotty, what actually got you into? I know that you had a lot of like strength and conditioning and wrestling and stuff like that, but what made you want to take that into a career?
I was going to school, science-based biology, chemistry, and had a pretty massive surgery that was kind of made me rethink a bunch of things, and got super into the rehab process and just figured out that, that's something that I really enjoyed. And that was kind of the switch. I was like, okay, I love the rehab process. I love anatomy and physiology already. Let's take this in a direction where, I can enjoy what I'm doing and, be of use. So that was definitely kind of the catalyst. But, coming to Boston and Mike Boyle Strength and Conditioning, like that place is like Mecca. They created like combine training. He was the head guy for the Bruins and the Red Sox, like during their big time. So, learning from guys like that was like, if I have an opportunity like that, let's just take this into a career.
Yeah. And that's having that background in like biology and chemistry and stuff like that, I'm sure just elevated your knowledge in strength and conditioning by boatloads, right?
Yeah, overqualified maybe.
Yeah. It's better to be overqualified than underqualified.
100%. Right? Overkill's underrated. But yeah, man, and like the people. That's the thing. It's like being around highly motivated people. It's huge. It brings you up. So I get to be around people that like are stoked to be in the gym and lifting and exercising and training as hard as possible all the time. So like you said, like that thing that gets you out of bed, like hit your buddy. It's like, hey,
yeah, you're helping.
We got to train, dude. So that's the big piece. Is definitely the people I get to hang out with and be around.
Yeah. Did you play any other sports in high school?
College rugby was the other one, which was a lot of fun. It was kind of when wrestling ended. It was like, all right, what am I gonna
do? Something
I gotta hit people in one way or another.
I wish I knew more about rugby. It's one of those things that looks like awesome and it like sort of like comparable to football in a lot of ways. But like I've never really got a good understanding of like the rules. I just always know what is it called, the scrum when you guys are all together.
It's the ruck scrum, yeah. They got a bunch of funny names.
There's a bunch of D1 schools that have it.
Yeah.
But we didn't have it. And I don't think that Merrimack has it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would have been... I mean, we probably wouldn't have been allowed to play it. Because we were going to
probably
football.
not. It's rough. Rugby's it's a rough sport, man. You get jacked up.
Yeah,
sure.
But it's like football with no pads.
Yeah.
I would have loved to play it, though. But those dudes, like... so it's on like ESPN2 like late night sometimes.
Yeah.
I get home from work and I'll just be and
it'll
be on. I'll watch it,
rugby.
man. Those dudes, they're intimidating looking. I mean, their thighs are like the size of your waist.
Yeah.
They got the ears,
the cauliflower ears. Yeah, you get cauliflower ears.
It's like there's some bad dudes.
Oh, you get a lot of cauliflower from rugby?
Yeah, and so like the forwards, the big guys.
Yeah.
There's like the forwards and the backs. The backs are the little guys, forwards are the big guys. When they go into the scrum, like where they all lock in, you like, and you get like raked if you go down to the ground. Like the gameplay doesn't stop.
Yeah.
So like if I have the ball, when I go down, I have to like hand it back to my team on the ground while the other team's trying to get it away from me.
They're trying to get it.
So like you like rake at each other with your cleats, and you got like metal cleats on, so like it'll tear an ear. Like
that's why some of them have the thing that like the wrestlers have. The headgear there.
It's because they're weak.
Yeah. But yeah, that's an interesting thing. The scrum at the beginning.
There's a bunch of UFC like Volk, probably the most well-known rugby player. Somebody else I just saw too. Maybe 2 weekends ago, they were showing their like journey playing rugby before mixed martial arts. But yeah, rugby's dope. I gotta start watching that a little bit more.
It's fun to watch.
It's not like I don't know if there's like a specific like schedule.
Yeah.
Like hey, watch rugby at Like I think they just randomly put it on because it's not like U.S. games.
It's just filler. Yeah, no. It's like South Africa versus Ireland or something.
Yeah, it's always like South. I feel like I always see South Africa on for rugby all the time.
Springboks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
And the All Blacks,
sport.
they're that. Yeah. I mean, the All Blacks are the haka and like all that shit. They just dope.
Dude, the haka stuff is awesome. Like I just saw the youngest politician to get elected to office in Hawaii. I don't know her name, but she did that like in the middle of Congress, and then you just hear like you wouldn't. I feel like you wouldn't expect like a bunch of people doing it, and like wearing suits and stuff like that. It just looks cool, man. Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just rugby, wrestling, then rugby. Yeah. But then
let me ask you this: what did you get? Hopefully not a lot, but I'm not going to. What did you get more injuries from, wrestling or rugby?
Wrestling.
Wrestling.
Yeah. Wrestling's super hard on the spine.
Yeah.
You're just constantly getting hit in the neck. Shoulders get cranked constantly. Super, high injury sport.
Yeah. My nephew wrestles. He just last night actually broke his thumb. Mm-hmm. So he'll be out for a little bit, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, rough sport, man.
Yeah,
you wrestled in high school too, right?
Yeah. You said the shoulders, man.
The shoulders get
my
cranked.
Shoulders have never been the same.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just any of the ground fighting. The jiu-jitsu, the judo, any of that, your shoulders and
shoulders
knees.
And neck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and neck too. But
and knees. Yeah, knees are a big one.
But I barely get hurt striking. I always get hurt when I go down and train with those guys.
Yeah.
Like Scotty. Yeah,
Yep.
Oh, how you feeling? Oh, I fucked up my shoulder again. Mm-hmm.
Terrible, actually.
Really, really bad. How are you?
Yeah, dude. Everyone's get into jiu-jitsu. It's gonna, make you healthier. Yeah, just lift. I mean, if you want to learn how to do jiu-jitsu, learn jiu-jitsu. But I would not advise it to lose weight.
Yeah.
Run.
Yeah, you should probably lose weight before you do jiu-jitsu. You're just gonna get smashed.
I mean, you're gonna get smashed no matter what.
Yeah.
That's the nature of learning any of those. You gotta really suck. No one walks in and is good at it, despite how they think they're gonna be good at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can attest to that. I'm currently the nail to several hammers.
Yeah.
Where do you go, Freddie?
I go to Henzo's Gracie and Wyndham.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
With Kevin?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't make it to a lot of Kevin's classes because he usually does Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Well, I'll see him on Fridays if I go to the competition class, but I was going...
Nick Fury's the guy that's running most of that stuff, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen Nick there. He was doing day classes, the 12 o'clock class, but I don't know if he's still there doing those anymore, to be honest. But he's awesome. I went to a few of his classes. He's
super good.
Yeah. I actually saw him. I don't really know him personally. I just know him from there a little bit. And then I saw him cornering a bunch of guys last night at Combat.
The New England Cartel. He's the grappling coach for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I usually I would see Tim there on Tuesdays or Thursday nights. Mm-hmm. And then also I would go. If I could before work, I haven't been to many of these either lately, but a gentleman Dan does a Tuesday, Thursday class at 6 a.m.
Nice.
So I would try to get to that.
The morning classes.
Yeah.
It's
so hard, man. I want to get, it is fun. Even when you're getting smashed or whatever, you're learning and it's it's fun, but it's just so hard finding the time lately. I feel like such a bum, making excuses, but it's anything, work, life,
Yeah.
If you don't get there, and then the worst is when you don't get there enough, and you see other people around you that maybe started the same time as you, and they're getting better and progressing, and you're not because you can't put in the time.
Yeah.
It sucks. It really sucks. But.
Yeah. Dude, strength matters. Everyone says it doesn't. It's not a thing in jiu-jitsu. 100% is.
Yeah.
The more you can do push-ups, squats, all that body weight stuff, it's only going to help.
Yeah. I fall victim to all of the YouTube or Instagram algorithms of like, this is like the new workout. Like, so I'm that guy that's always trying like the new workout that everyone's recommended. Like for the past maybe like 2 weeks, I've been doing like hammer curls and like tricep extensions like every night because I saw like a good video of it. I saved it. And now I just like do that every day. Like,
is that like the 15-pound dumbbell?
Yeah,
like
15 pounds.
Don't stop, keep
Don't
going.
stop.
Yeah.
Dude, and like I feel like I've probably like torn several muscles in the back of my arm because I'm like I should probably stop. And I'm like,
I think there are definitely better ways to
Oh yeah.
we'll hook you up.
Definitely better ways.
But man, honestly, once in a while, like get sick of doing our same routines and stuff. I will go on YouTube and just put on like strength training for MMA fighters or something, and like something will come up, and I might adjust it and modify it. Yeah. But like it's just something different to do, Yeah. You just get bored of doing the same shit.
You get bored.
I know. You know what? For me, I feel like I'm always constantly chasing high school. There's something about like maybe like the wrestling team or like the football team, like when you're in the in a gym or like the weight room with everybody else that like on your team. There's nothing better than that. Like you got the music blasting, you're like all getting fired up. Like I miss that. Like I miss that so much that I just feel like I can't get the same workout as like back then. Or even like the Merrimack days when we would do like our team workouts. Even though we didn't have like the best weight room, right? Like we didn't have like any crazy equipment, but just like all right, like we're all gonna.
It wasn't
see,
so
like,
much the workout; it was just being there with the guys.
Yeah,
I just like fucking around all the time.
Yeah,
just laughing my ass off and having a good time with the guys.
Yeah,
but and then like the workout was the bonus. You got a good workout and then.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I that's what I miss about all that stuff. That's why I still train.
Yeah,
because you still get that with the guys.
Yeah,
you get to hang.
Scotty, do you ever? Like program, this is like a weird question, like program like fun into a workout? Not saying that like your workout's not fun, but like do you like ever like program like something like specifically in there to
no, for sure. They're like specific, especially if it's like a real meat and potatoes, like let's say we're doing like a 5-3-1 split with like bench, dead, and squat, and then like I'll throw in just right in like gun show. And just let them go to town on like bicep, triceps, or like if they're, I had this one fighter, Fernanda, she's awesome. She's on the Brazilian national team for a while, years ago. And benching, her big lift was bench. Yeah. She was like scary strong at bench. So we'd hit bench like right before, which you never are supposed to do, like a competition. And that would like pump her up.
Oh.
And like build confidence, and we just like we wouldn't like do 1 rep maxes, but like she could feel confident in that. So for sure, there's like fun in it. This new generation, they're like 18 to 22 right now. So it's funny you said that. We just scheduled as coaches mandatory fun for them, like because like the phones stuff now, like it's hard to get that type of hang.
Yeah.
Even in like a sports team, so it's really like put your phones in a corner. You guys like, it doesn't have to be spending money, but like you guys
you just talk to each other.
You got to talk to each other.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah,
sad.
So that's where like we're starting the.
But you have a lot of young kids, so you kind of got to keep their attention span, right?
And they're good like with one-on-one with each other, but like trying to create a cohesive team for sure. That's like huge, especially with fighting or grappling or striking, because you got to be able to like knock your buddy out and still be good afterwards. Once we shake hands, we're not friends anymore, and once we shake hands again at the end, we're friends.
Maybe
depends on it.
That's awesome, man. I think I need to start programming some like fun into my workouts. I have this like little like setup I have as far as like strength and conditioning goes. Like I said, I'll do like stupid things off of like YouTube or whatever, or I'll every once in a while my wife will like actually work out with me, and we'll try to do like sprints. We'll like go for a run or like something. But yeah,
some circuits.
Yeah, do some
Just
circuits.
Stay
I
consistent.
feel-
You want some fun?
Dude, I know. I'm
Make
like,
some blood.
yeah,
Go,
make some blood.
go
Dude,
run down
I'm
the
like-
river at 2:30 in the
It's covered,
morning
dude.
and let
Dude,
the coyotes chase
I'm
you.
like,
Yeah.
I'm picking off blood from everywhere. I'm all dried up. I'm like, oh man.
That'll be fun. Let the coyotes chase you for a
I
while,
know.
Freddie.
Drag a stake behind you. Run fast. Yeah.
I'm kind of nervous though. We're gonna go outside after this, and there's gonna be cops around my car because that dummy is still like probably hanging partially out of the bed of my truck with blood like leaking everywhere.
Yeah, I saw the leaking
So
off the
it
truck.
probably looks like a sketchy situation out there.
But you driving home and you're at a light and the blood's just
I
dripping
know.
down these boxes with all
Yeah.
red all over.
I don't even want to think
Perfect.
about like clean, like everything
It'll
in the
be
back
dark.
of my truck's
By the time
got
you
thrown
leave,
out.
Yeah,
It's got
by the
power
time you leave,
washer.
it'll be dark.
Oh, dude, yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to get the hose, like hose the truck down. Dude, that was a lot of fun today, man. I know we're probably be wrapping up soon, but you guys are the best, man. Like, I wish the audience, you guys will see the video that we put together. It's gonna be awesome. I'm super pumped about. Like, if you had any idea the turmoil I put Jamie and Scotty through today to get this filming like up and going, they had no idea what was gonna happen.
No, it was all good. It
Yeah.
was all fun.
Yeah, it was great.
It's just, like I said, I didn't realize how much production goes into like every little scene. You know,
Yeah.
like there's a lot that goes into it.
This will be the sketch will be probably, it won't be more than 45 seconds. It'll be like 30 seconds to 45 seconds worth of
Content.
video content.
Yeah, but that's what you need these days, right?
Yeah.
You can't have more than that.
And that was like a couple hours worth of shooting.
Yeah.
For like that little bit of
For
time,
that.
you know, it's, you know, I guess maybe like a fight. Like, how many hours do you put in, like whether coaching or the other person get ready for it? Like, how much time you put in for 15 minutes?
Yeah, how long did your last fight last?
Didn't go past the first round.
Not long.
Yeah, that was tough. I mean,
Like
the
20
lead up.
seconds?
No, the lead up. I'm saying. Like,
Oh, yeah, no.
The training.
The amount of training for 20 seconds in the ring?
Yeah.
You know how like Sunday is supposed to be like your rest day for
Yeah.
the Lord and stuff like that. So that's the only day that like everybody's around though, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, we're older now. It's not like we're in school. Like, hey, come over on a Tuesday at 12. Like everybody's got their thing. So the only day I could get everybody together was Sundays. So Sunday was my absolute worst day
Yeah.
for like 3 months. They would just come over and
You came up with that, too. Like
I know,
It was your
but
fault.
that's when I knew I needed it. So I'd have like I think it was 6 minute rounds, right?
6 minute
So
rounds.
6 minute rounds, 2 would be like a striker, or 2 would be like whatever anybody's specialty would be. Like Scotty would come in and like grapple me. Whoever would come in and kickbox me or whatever. So, and then someone would come in and do a mix. So it'd be 2, 2, and 2.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't leave, you know.
Yeah.
And it would only be 3 rounds. Yeah. So
But
3
you're getting a
rounds.
fresh person in
Yeah,
every 2 minutes.
And,
You're beat, they're not.
Exactly.
and like they weren't going easy either,
No.
you know. So they're like it was a rough Sunday every Sunday. But, yeah.
But it worked.
But it worked. It only lasted 20
Very well.
seconds to get the brakes off
Yeah.
that guy.
Ah.
It was good.
Yeah.
Dude, you had a great view of the fight, I'm sure. We were there, and a couple other like dudes from Merrimack.
Yeah.
We were, I was anyway. I talked about this last time. I get nervous watching just like a fighter that I've maybe never met that I just like if there's like someone from the cartel or someone fighting on like a UFC fight, and like I just know they're from this area. I get nervous like at home watching. Like I don't want them to lose or get hurt. Like I'm fucking nervous. When Jamie was getting into the fight, I was like holding on to, it was like Rico, like I'm like clinched on so hard. Like I like, dude, I'm like a baby.
Commented on Instagram.
Dude, I'm
He
like
said-
a baby.
He said I
can't
do
take
it. He's like he was too.
dude, I'm like sweating, like
Yeah.
so nervous. So like, I can't even imagine, dude. But that was it. It worked, man. It
Yeah.
worked because you crushed that, dude.
It was good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, listen, guys, we're going to start wrapping up.
Yeah.
But is there anything that you guys want to plug coming up, or any instructionals that you could direct the audience where to go to find them?
Oh yeah, you can just go to BJJ Fanatics or Strong and Fit for Scotty's instructionals. We were talking about workouts today, right? You have
Yep.
a few for functional workouts. And
Yeah, 100%. There are 3 different videos on there.
Yep.
One's kind of like over 50, one specifically for judo, and one is for kind of all around, just staying in shape.
Yeah, so go check those out, guys. And mine are all on dynamic strike, and I have 2 different ones. They're other workout ones, but specific for striking. So check those out.
Great. What about, do you guys have any social media accounts that people could check out?
Yeah, Scotty.
That's Scotty G003.
Yeah, mine's Jabs with Jaime.
Awesome. Well, guys, oh man, thank you guys so much for coming. Not just coming to do the interview, because that was epic as well, but just all the shoots for today. You guys are going to love the skit.
Yeah, it was fun.
Pray for Avas. He made it home okay. He's all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I had
Yes,
so
sir,
much
dude.
fun. I always have fun anytime Jaime come in, so I'm so glad we were able to connect and just had a great time. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
Absolutely, bro.
anytime for
Thank
it.
Yeah. No, yeah. Well, guys, this has been the Barn Burner Breakdown. Again, I'm your host, Fred Sibeli. Thank you for checking us out. Check out these gentlemen's instructionals. Follow them on Instagram, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Cut.